So, first of all, how did you feel when you got the call to play on the season? What was going through your head?
Well, initially I really wasn't sure, but this is my home. Um, and the check was cute that I was presented, so I went ahead and said yes. Don't know why I did, but because I've like not that like I don't want to be here, but like I'm just really having a difficult time with Hex and Walker being here. I think like I almost would have preferred it if they were not playing.
Okay, well, that's my next question. So, kind of talk about each of the rest of the vets, how you felt about them coming in, and how are you feeling now about them
So
and stuff.
Robin, I'm like very like whatever about. Like obviously, I was very against him on season 3. And season 5, I was against him again for different reasons because like he was like a Rhymelia crony. Um, so I didn't really mind seeing him. Like he just doesn't bother me like he used to. And we've also like played a couple wars together. Like he's just very whatever. I'm kind of used to his playstyle by now. Um, but then Hex and Walker, like I almost like it's like this weird thing where I like kind of feel like obligated to be aligned with them, but at the same time, first of all, Hex and I really are not seeing eye to eye on like a lot of things on how we want to play the game. This early on, and she's like, she's being really extra, and like every single thing she's done has been like very over the top, like from getting all the tokens, hoarding all the tokens, to like being second place in HOH, like wanting to get HOH, like flipping the vote. Like she's really just wanting to cause as much chaos and drama as possible, and like I could see it being beneficial for her for like the short term, but like in a few weeks, I'm just really not sure how that's going to hold up for her. Although I do feel like she is doing really well socially right now, with certain people, at least like a lot of the newbies, especially. Like I feel like she's in really good with Leah and Kathy. I feel like she's obviously in really good with Clash. But then again, I feel like I'm kind of picking up the people that she's not, and then we have like the mutual. Like I feel like I have a pretty good relationship with Kathy, although it hasn't been like really much game yet. Um, yeah, Walker, I'm really not worried about. But my thing about everyone is like coming like since I came back and like I'm a previous winner or whatever. I'm pretty sure everyone's just gonna like try to do the thing where their like big move is to like be aligned with me and then take me out as like and be like, oh look, I'm so good at Big Brother, and like have that on their resume. So that's just kind of annoying, but it's something I'm gonna have to deal with.
Okay, and how do you feel like you felt about the new players in the house?
I actually like a lot of them. I like Dre. Nathan, I have known before this, but we played Blitz together, and he was first boot, but he was also really trying me there, so like I had a reason to want him out. But like I'm willing to keep a key with him. The only thing is like he knows that he kind of knows me and Walker or Zivas and Hex all have like known each other for a long time, and we're like really close friends. So he can use that information against us any given moment, which is another reason why like I'm trying not to just rely on Walker and Hex. I kind of want to like be seen outside of them, which I think I'm doing. Like from this past cycle, even I now have a little trio alliance with Ari and Swan.
Okay, interesting. So, the first
Danielle
HOA,
though, Danielle is sending me like
please.
like
Going
she's
with the
like, okay, well, first of all, so just like to take it back a little bit, Flash tells me, and I'm the one who spread this around, mind you, because it was such a gag, and also like I 1000% believe she said it. She's talking about my alliance wants you out. Like whenever she said that, I was like, oh my god! Like first of all, you don't just say that to someone, especially not me. Second of all, like I'm not in the alliance, so I'm good. Um, I don't know who is in it. I'm pretty sure Robin and her, like she's. I can just tell that like I feel like Robin is her number one. And it's probably mutual actually. Um, but yeah, I had to spread that shit around. Um, Love Swan. Um, like my issue is like I feel like I have just major trust issues because like I think I really want to work with people, but I swear like everyone is going to like literally like try to like take me out as their big move. Like that's just ugh. Like I feel like Swan and Ari will do that too. Like I feel like everyone will do that.
I hope I didn't cause any Blitz PTSD.
Yeah, see, like you were like, no, I was playing like fucking shit in that game, and you're like, oh, we gotta take out Vlin in the double, like just too much.
Oopsies. So, during the first HOH, Hex was leading for a bit, and she felt like there was an opportunity she could have, got enough points to win there, and that you came in and did an autograph, and you guys discussed it a lot in your alliance. But how did you feel about the whole situation?
Honestly, I took NyQuil, like, and I had a really busy day the next day. I forget why. I forget what I was doing, but I had a really busy day the next day. Um, I took NyQuil. I was like half asleep. I was like, let me just do this autograph. Like Clash just woke up. I didn't know that Clash and Hex were about to be besties, but I was like, like him winning HOH kind of would have been just like a wild card moment. Um, but like also like I'm fine with that. Like I'm cool with it. Like her and I obviously have our differences and we both know that, and like it's been very obvious. We've fought already a lot in the alliance. We've had a VC about everything. And ultimately like nothing bad happened this week. So if anything, I did her a favor because she really did not need that.
Interesting. So the first round of auditions happen, and Hex gets in with 60 tokens, and you had a strong reaction towards that. So, how are you feeling about that?
It was just interesting to me because she didn't tell me she wanted any tokens, and like all of a sudden it's announced like she has 60, and then she doesn't even say like I don't know. It was very odd. Like I thought that she would at least like be like, oh yeah, well I want tokens, so if you want to give me some, and then she pulls out 60 out of nowhere, like without my help at all. Like okay. And now she couldn't really tell me what her um um what she got from it, but now I know it's immunity this week, so congrats to her.
Right. So, earlier on, it seemed as though, you're really considering Nathan leaving in the coming weeks. It seems like later with Zives, you may have changed your mind regarding that. So, where's your head right now regarding your relationship with Nathan?
With Nathan, um honestly I don't know, like because based on what Hex is telling me, she feels like I don't know. I feel like Nathan tells me more than he tells Hex and probably Walker. I know that Nathan and I share a common target in Janelle. Um, so I'm cool with him right now. The only thing I'm worried about is that is like him like kind of spilling about me, Hex, and Walker. But I feel like if that did get spilled, I feel like maybe I would be safe. I could potentially be safe over Walker. Like Hex is who I'm worried about. It's kind of like I'm kind of gonna have to battle Hex for like social power and staying. I feel like.
Interesting. Well, speaking of battling with Hex, kind of walk us through how this whole voting process went for you and where you ultimately
Okay.
landed with.
So this like it was actually kind of a disaster for me in the very beginning, but now that it's all over, I actually came out of it I think better than um I was before because like I was like fine with Ty, like we weren't like super close or anything, and I have like talked to Clash more and like made him feel cool about everything ever since he's like been more active and whatnot. And I was like telling him that I was like one of the ones that was much more open to keeping him. So luckily, I think that I'm off his radar personally. Um, so the vote for me was like obviously I added to this huge majority alliance that I already knew was going to be last from the first moment it happened, which is why I immediately told Hex and Walker about it. Because if they found out from someone else and I didn't tell them, like that really would have been the end of my game. And obviously, considering it was so big and it was already so messy, like it wasn't going to like it was a disaster immediately. So I'm actually very glad that I did leak it to them. So Dre and Robin especially wanted to target Clash, and Clash comes in with all this information talking about the Danielle information which I gave to them. And Swan and I kind of like felt the same way about it. Like we didn't really care who goes, but like my reasoning is I obviously can't really go against Hex and Walker this early. I just think it would have been really messy for my game if I would have chosen to vote with the majority alliance that I don't care that much about, rather than with them. Although I do think that initially that move benefited Hex the most. And then of course like Leah, which I'm pretty sure, like if I had to guess, this little thing that he said in the living room about his core F3, I'm pretty sure it's him, Hex, and Leah. Like if I had to guess. But I could be wrong. Anyways, the drama worked out for me though, because the alliance that I already did not feel great about did implode. However, I was like, even though I was like basically the reason why the vote was decided, because Swan was really only going to do it if I was down two. And I kind of had to be the one to be like, okay, well, I want to do it if you do it. And I was going back and forth. But like ultimately, like I kind of had to make sure that he knew I was okay with it, because I was the only way that Hex and Walker would have been like, I just couldn't have lied to them about it. Um, so anyways, so Swan is like, I guess he's just very open with his information, more so than I am. So I guess that word basically kind of spread from him to Robin and Dre and Hunter, and they were like, "What's going on? Like, why can't we get this vote together? We're a disaster of an alliance." And I'm just like laughing my ass off reading it, like, "Oh my god!" Robin's like, wait, what are you saying? Let me find this. You're either my ally or you're not. You're either Drake's ally or you're not. You're either Hunter's ally or you're not. Like, first of all, he's wild for that. Um, so yeah, whenever all that was going down, like Ari, and apparently, like hearing from Hex, like Ari and Swan are the ones who got the most of the backlash from that. Like no one's really even like, I don't think blamed me at all for it. Even though I do think that ultimately I was like kind of the catalyst for Swan and I flipping to make sure the numbers are there. And then everyone flipped. And then because the alliance blew up, I now have a new trio with Ari and Swan, who already both really wanted to work with me. So now I know I'm basically in two different trios, as well as have like my little side relationships with people.
Okay, interesting. Um, so now that the dust has settled, going into this next HOH, what would be like your best case scenarios for like this HOH?
So I actually wouldn't mind winning. Now that like I wouldn't have wanted the last one, because it was just too early still, and I didn't really have an idea of what I want to do. I wouldn't mind winning, but I definitely would have to piss someone off. Danielle would be a very easy nomination for me, but I think that would be my only like super easy one, because I do kind of want to talk to Leah more and try to build my relationship with her. But then like we also have the quote unquote fake majority alliance, and that has Hunter in it, who I'm not very close with. Like him being in that like was so weird for me, because like I just don't see us vibing about the same things. Like I just don't find much to really talk with him about. So like that would be my other easy nomination. Although I guess I could honestly do Clash, but I feel like Clash would just go home next to Danielle. So actually, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
it would be like Daniel would be the easy nom, but I would struggle with the second nom, and especially if there was a renom, I'd really struggle.
Who would you feel most uncomfortable about winning HOH?
Honestly, um, I honestly think that no matter who wins HOH, I wouldn't be nominated. I might be delusional, but like if Danielle won, she would rather nominate Clash and like Swan or Clash and like literally any of the people who kind of like really were on the forefront of that vote. I don't think that she knows that like I was kind of like the deciding factor of it. So, and that's like really the only person that I feel like, would possibly nominate me that I don't have a great relationship with. So,
Okay. And what are you hoping to have happen with this round of auditions?
I kind of want to. Okay, well, my initial idea was, you know what? Let me just give all my tokens to myself right now and get it out of the way. I'm pretty sure this is only going to be like for the first like 4 weeks. I barely spent any last time, so I could just give 96 to myself and see if I can get a couple more from other people. And then that way, like my whole like thing with that is like my initial thought was if I just do that, then um, no one is going to like suspect me of giving my tokens to anyone else for the future power, so I don't even have to worry about it. Like it kind of gets my tokens out of the way, so like it's not like oh I could have given someone tokens without saying. Um, that was my initial plan, but then I guess Walker wants some as well. But I'm just really not sure who would be willing to give that many to him. Besides me and Hex. So we'll see.
Okay. And who do you suspect Ty gave his tokens to?
I don't know. Honestly, like um maybe maybe Walker actually. I think that Walker like it could have potentially got them and just isn't telling us. Um or maybe Danielle or Robin because they were like all campaigning so hard for Ty to stay. So
Interesting. We have some
that's so
questions
too.
from. Oop, we have some questions from your fans.
Okay.
Um, Someone would like to know who do you plan on working with outside of Zeus and Hex?
I've like kind of covered this a little bit before. So like I kind of just thought that like Ari, Swan, and Robin were gonna be like a very tight trio, like unbreakable, because like I just know they have a history of like playing together and hosting each other and stuff like that. So I just kind of assumed that was going to be the case. Of course, much to my surprise, luckily, basically what I said happened. I said I'm going to need someone to get out one of the Robin Ari Swan trio, but it can't be me. But like I kind of just wanted to be like whoever left, I wanted to replace in that trio. But like now they're already against Robin, so and like they both talked about wanting to work with me, so they like were very quick to jump on creating the trio themselves. So I didn't even really have to ask for it. So that kind of worked out perfectly for me. Um, Kathy, I also really like. She just hasn't like. Oh well, she actually just responded 10 minutes ago, so I need to talk to her. But I'm gonna work on Kathy really hard too. I like her a lot. Talking to her is fun. She gets it. Leah, I want to loosely work with. Nathan and Robin, I want to loosely work with. Dre, I want to loosely work with. But my core right now is my two different trios, I guess.
Okay. Um, what are your thoughts on your showmance with Robin?
Like he's so ridiculous. I'm gonna have to like try to like do whatever I can to like kind of like get in better with him. Like I need to reassure him that like I'm not after him because I'm really not. Um, at least yet. But I am after his girly Danielle. So he's just gonna have to live with that. There can only be one. It's like very
Interesting.
it's very unserious though.
Very interesting, actually. Who do you feel like will become the next biggest threat in the game?
Hex. I think that Hex wants to play as hard as she can, like super early, and like I said, like I mean, I get it. Like we kind of just have to try to like win a lot and just pray, but like at the same time, I just have a feeling like the second like something like a double comes up and like oh you can get Hex out quick, like I feel like that would happen. Um, Whereas like besides just my resume, I don't feel like I'm that much on anyone's radar. Again, I could be wrong though.
Okay, well, if a situation does happen where Hex is being targeted, are you going to put your, how much will you jeopardize your game in order to save her?
Oh, I wouldn't.
Gag boots.
Um, yeah, I wouldn't like. I don't know. Like our relationship this time around is way different in the game than it was in All Stars, where like I kind of like she was like my number one, like my ride or die. Um, like I didn't even want to play without her. That kind of moment. But like this time is like honestly just like the way they've like I get like okay like I checked in or whatever, but like the way they made me feel about it and like she was just kind of treating me like shit. And I didn't appreciate it very much. And like this whole like vote, like they kind of like weren't even caring like what's gonna happen like with the fallout of me and that like mega alliance. Um, and I made it very clear that like I was very annoyed with them about it. But they may know about that larger alliance, but I am not telling them about my trio with Swan and Ari. So that will have I will have that in my back pocket for myself.
All right, period. And lastly, obviously you won your first season, but how are you feeling about change? How do you think you're going to change your game from All Stars in order to, win again?
Um, like I said, um, not rely on like just like Hex and Walker. Like I'm not just going to blindly like rely on them for everything because like I said, I really do believe that the second we get to jury, like I could absolutely see like if the second they feel safe enough, like they have numbers, I could see them just voting me out. I'm not sure if they put me up, but I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna like want to try fighting for that move. Because I have like just because of the resume, I have a bigger target on me because y'all decided to cast me as the only winner for some reason.
Not too much.
Mm-hmm. So
All
yeah,
right. Well,
basically,
mhm.
I'm kind of just gonna chill a little bit right now, just because I really don't feel like in super danger. And even if I was nominated, I feel like I could potentially get votes to say. I could be wrong and delusional, but that's just how I feel right now. And then I definitely like once we get to jury and like final about like final like 9 or 10 if I make it to there. That's when I really really want to start like really try harding everything.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for doing with us this with us, Vlin. Glad you're
of
not too
course.
good.
Thank you for having me, and yeah, we'll just have to see how this all plays out. It should be very interesting.